All right, Shalom. Brothers of Great Millstone and Brackshot in this moment. First and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who preach the gospel of truth and sincerity, always in charity. And as you can see, another episode of Spirit Like the Wind. You know, we're going to start off with a question that a brother had in the camp yesterday. You know, so we told him through the Spirit that if the Spirit allowed us, we would put something together, you know, to edify him on this question that he had. So we're going to pretty much edify the brother through the Spirit, Lord willing, on this question. And then wherever the Spirit takes us, that's where it's going, Spirit Like the Wind. So the brother's question was pretty much the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying, of keeping track of the Sabbath, the importance of the Sabbath, and how to keep the Sabbath, you know. So right now we're in the new moon, you know. It'll be over at sunset, you know. So it's kind of, you know, beautiful through the Spirit that we're going to touch on the topic of the Sabbath, being that it is the Sabbath now. So the brother want to start with Genesis. You got that, brother?
This is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, in Elohim, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so.
Right. So now the sun, moon, they were made to do what? To give light upon the earth, and also let it be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So the moon and the sun is pretty much our calendar. It's pretty much our time of how we calculate things, of how we know when this is coming in, or when this feast day, or when this Sabbath day. Right? It's determined by what the functionings of the bodies of heaven. Go ahead.
It says, and God made two, I'll read verse 15 again. First, Genesis 1 and 15. It says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. So that shows you that he made the greater light being the sun to rule the day. All right, the lesser light being the moon to rule the night. But even though it's a lesser light than the sun, it still said that it was a great light. So that proves to you that they didn't go to the moon. That's bullshit. That's a lie. All right.
They teach you in school that the light from the moon is reflected from the sun. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. The light emanates its own.
Right.
The moon emanates its own light, man.
Right.
You know.
Right, and just jump back up to verse 14. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So like the brother was saying, our calendar is based off of the Lord's creations, the sun and the moon and the stars. That's how we can tell the time. All right, not by because the calendar that we're under right now is the Gregorian calendar, which was created in 1582. So what was we going by before that? Well, before that, they had the Julian calendar during the time of the Romans, and that calendar had 8 days in it. All right,
which they got it from the Egyptians,
exactly,
which had 10-day weeks with 3 weeks in a month.
Right.
You know.
Right, and then on top of that, America. So that shows you that the calendar has been changing. So we have to go back to the beginning, which is where we're at right now. We're in the beginning of Genesis, and we're reading how we read the time in the beginning, because over time, shit was tainted. The so-called white man came into rulership and said, he even thought to change times, man, and seasons. So that's what he did, man. He changed everything up. Who really knows this 2019? This could really be 2022, or it could really be 2017 still. That's the calendar. Through the calendar, you got leap year. All right, you got leap year where 1 year or every 4 years there's an extra day. All right. Then during the time of the Julian calendar, there was 8 days. All right, and I just wanted to bring this information out because right now we go through. Right now we're under the Gregorian calendar, but when you look at the days of the week, they all go back to Roman gods. All right, so it says this is the conversation.com. It says explain it, the gods behind the days of the week. It says So like it says in English, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are named for Saturn, Saturday after Saturn, the sun, and the moon. Sunday is the sun, Monday is the moon, respectively, following the Latin. The remaining 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, are named for gods that well, this is going off. It says are named for gods that the Anglo-Saxons, which the true Anglo-Saxons are the Israelites. All right, Anglo means angelic, and Saxons is Isaac, the angelic sons of sons. I believe Saxons is sons. All right, angelic sons of Isaac, man. All right, it says probably worship before they migrated to England, and during the short time before they converted to Christianity after that.
So what this going into is pretty much going into Norse religion. You know, when brothers watch Thor, you know,
Right,
it speaks
exactly.
about Odin and Freya and Asgard and all that shit. That's pretty much what they were worshiping, which where you get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from.
Yeah.
Thursday goes to Thor's day, you know.
Right. And then that's all this is going into. It says Tuesday is named after the god Tu, about whom relatively little is known. Tu was probably associated with warfare, just like the Roman god Mars.
And then I was gonna say, and really all these go back to the worshiping of the bodies of heaven anyway, man.
Exactly.
Like Saturday is Saturn's day, Sunday is the sun day, Monday is the moon day, Tuesday represents Mars. It's supposed to be Mars day, right? Wednesday is
well, it says Wednesday is named for the god Woden, who is parallel with the Roman god Mercury.
Right. Thursday is
Thursday.
Thor's day.
Yeah.
You know, Friday is Freya, which represents Venus. You know, so these names of the weeks and even the names of the month. You know, they go back to paganism, man. Which letting you know that we didn't call our days Tuesday or Thursday or we didn't say we're in the month of January or December. December actually means 10. So how is it the 12th month? You know, it's all confusion and madness.
So that just shows you that where's Saturday in the Bible? Where's Friday? That's you know, that cuts the Friday, Saturday, Sabbath right there. Where's that in the Bible? Yeah, Friday and Saturday, that's the worship of other gods. Those are named after other gods. That's off of a calendar that was just made recently. So what was we going to before that? And that's why we went all the way to the beginning, which is Genesis, and we read that our days, our feast days, was all determined off of the moon. All right, the sun and the moon, the Lord's creations. That was it.
Just going back, I'm gonna read that Genesis real quick. Genesis 1:14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Like the brother has said, that we use the signs of the sun and the moon to declare what our feast days are, and so on and so forth. This is Sirach chapter 43 and verse 5. It says, great one. Okay, come. It says, the pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show. The sun, when it appeared, declaring at his rising, a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon, it parcheth the country.
How do you know noon, man? When it's at the highest point in the sky, man. You know, let you know the sun. You know, go ahead.
It says, at noon, it parcheth the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man blowing a furnace is in works of heat. But the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors and sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes.
Right, because it speaks about what? The greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to move the rule the night, which is speaking about the sun, going into the workings and the power of the sun. Go ahead.
Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment it runneth hastily. He made the moon also,
which let you know that the earth don't revolve around the sun revolves around the earth, man. It says that the sun runneth hastily. So the sun was moving around the earth, man. Contrary to what Esau tell you. Go ahead.
Great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment it runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
Right, which lines right up with Genesis, the 1st chapter that we read. Okay.
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
What is that? Psalm
81.
Yeah, blow you up the trumpet. Go ahead.
The month is called after her name.
The month is called after her name. Pops, hold 1 Samuel 20. Go ahead.
The month is called after her name.
The month is called after her name.
Because that's where the word moon come from.
There it is, the word month.
Yeah.
The word month comes from the word moon. So moon and month is synonymous with each other. How do we know that? You have an example where you'll be like, hey, my woman is on her moon. Meaning what? She's on her monthly. She's on her cycle. So it's letting you know that the moon and the month is synonymous with each other.
This is real fast. It's Isaiah 66 and 23. It says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord Yahweh. So one new moon to another, that's saying from 1 month to another month, one Sabbath to another, 1 week to another week, meaning what? Everybody's going to be forced to worship the Lord all the time, man. But one new moon to another, in the Hebrew would say Kadash, all right? Which that's synonymous with month. 1 month to another, 1 moon to another, 1 Sabbath to another, 1 week to the next week, man. All right, so
keep that in mind. We're gonna come back to that scripture. Go ahead.
It says, Sirach 43 and 8, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument.
So it says the month is called after her name. So a new month means new moon. Increasing wonderfully in her changing. Letting you know what, man. Hey, when it's at its dark point, that's the beginning of the month. Then it increases till its perfection. It's going to explain it. Go ahead.
It says, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of the Lord. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches.
Right, meaning what? Hey, those ordinances are set forever, man. You know, they don't get weary or get tired. No, the sun and moon rises and sets at its appointed time according to the commandment of the Lord. But the point is what? Is the month is called after her name. You know? So how did our ancient forefathers determine when the new month was coming? Or how to establish what the 6th day is or what the 7th day is? Because within the law, this is Exodus 20 and verse 8. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Did it say remember Saturday? Let me read that again. Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day. That sound like Saturday, y'all? To keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. Did it name Monday or Tuesday or Sunday? No, it says 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So how do we determine what the 7th day is? How did our ancient forefathers determine that, man? Well, we just read right here. It says the month is called after her name. So the new month is synonymous with what? The new moon. You see? So let's get 1 Samuel 20 and start at yeah, it might be that. It might be that. Yep.
1 Samuel 20 and 5. It says, and David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I shall not fail to sit with the king at meat. But let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the 3rd day at evening.
Right. So now when you go into this is King David and Jonathan making a pact, you know, and King David telling Jonathan, like, look, your pop's trying to kill me. You know what I'm saying? And Jonathan was like, I don't be sure of this matter if this happens and this happens, man. You know, you can read the totality of the chapter to get it. But jump down to verse 18.
This 1 Samuel 20 and 18, it says, then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty.
Mm-hmm.
And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself when the business was in hand, and shall remain by the stone Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as though I shot at a mark. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, Go, find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, Behold, the arrows are on the side of thee, take them. Then come thou, for there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as the Lord liveth.
Right. So he's telling him, pretty much giving him, this is the signal that everything is cool. But jump down to 24.
Verse 24 says, So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat.
Right. So the next day came in, which they said tomorrow is the new moon. So that day comes in. Now is the day of the new moon. And David didn't go in to have this feast with the king, right? As they do from new moon to new moon, from Sabbath to Sabbath, right? Go ahead.
And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought, some things have befallen him. He is not clean, surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month.
Hold on, read that again.
It says, Nevertheless, Saul spake not.
Verse 27.
It says, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the 2nd day of the month.
Exactly. So it showed you that the new moon came in and David wasn't there at his spot. So the next day came. What's the next day?
The 2nd day of the month.
The 2nd day of the month. That's letting us know that the new moon is the 1st day of the month, which would mean what? That's the beginning of the new month, which lines up with Sirach, the 43rd chapter. The month is called after her name. So when the new moon comes in, that establishes the new month. So the new moon is what? The 1st day of that new month. And the 2nd day would be the 1st day that you start your work. You see? Then when you count 7 days, that would be on the 8th day, according to the moon cycle, you would rest. That would be your Sabbath. You know?
And then so on, 15 afterward.
Then 15, then 22, then 29. You know? And in the moon cycle, there's 29 and a half days. So it depends on when the moon rises. Sometimes it's back to back, and sometimes there's a day in between, which we can find that within the scriptures. Brother, get that in Nehemiah, the 13th chapter. Go ahead.
This is Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 17. It says, Then I contended with the nobles of Judah.
So it's established that what? The new moon institutes the 1st day of the month, because on the morrow, which is the 2nd day, King David wasn't there in his place either. So it's letting you know how our forefathers looked at the sun and the moon for a declaration of times and seasons, man. Go ahead.
Nehemiah 13 and 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, What evil thing is this that
Start at 16.
There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware.
So this is Nehemiah 13 and 16. And it says all manner of ware, meaning what? Of goods. These men of Tyre, these heathens, these Canaanites, would come and sell to the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them,
Why? Because the nobles were to blame. The nobles are the leaders. As the leader is, so are the officers, as it says in Sirach. So Nehemiah contended with the nobles, with the leaders, man, the ones that's supposed to set the example. Go ahead.
What evil thing is this that you do and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus? And did not our power bring all this evil upon us and upon the city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut and charged that they should not be open till after the Sabbath.
Exactly. So to keep them heathens from coming in and selling to the children of Israel, Nehemiah ordered that the gates be closed on the Sabbath days, man. Go ahead.
And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kinds,
So the heathens of all kind, they did what?
of where lodged without Jerusalem.
So they had to wait outside the city. Why? Because the doors was closed on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
It says where lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
Because sometimes the Shabbat comes, it's the end of the Shabbat of that moon cycle, and the new moon comes right after that. So it's 2 Sabbaths back to back. They lodged outside once or twice, because sometimes it came back to back. You see? We keep it according to what? The customs of our ancient forefathers. It spoke about how Issachar, if a brother can find that in Chronicles, how Issachar had the knowledge of the heavens, roughly paraphrasing that. So the Lord gave us that ability to read the stars, and we have a slight inkling of that ability back, man. Being able to determine what time the moon rises, man. That the Sabbath is coming in on this day. That's why we see Apostle Ramlab uploads those videos. You know, the new moon, the day that is coming in. So brothers, can prepare yourself to keep it holy. You know, and a brother hold Isaiah 58 as well, because we're gonna go into how to keep it and what you're supposed to do on those days. Go ahead.
This is 1 Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 32. And the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment.
Right, and understanding of the times was really they had understanding to read the heavens that the Lord had gave it to them. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the Aztec calendar. You know, when you look at that calendar, man, that calendar was acting. Why? Because they were able to read the stars, man. And that's what the Lord gave unto us. Genesis, the 1st chapter. For signs, seasons, days, and years. You know? Yeah.
Isaiah 58 and 13.
Come. This is Isaiah 58 and verse 13. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
Right. So Exodus 20 says what? That we should remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So this says what? To refrain thy foot from doing thy own pleasure on the Sabbath day. So whatever you deem pleasurable on the Sabbath day, man, you wouldn't do it. For an example, me personally, I don't play video games on the Sabbath day. I look at that as something that's pleasurable. So I don't play video games on the Sabbath day. You see? So you refrain from what you usually do throughout the week. Be on Facebook looking, inboxing bitches and shit. Don't do that on the Sabbath day, man. You know, whatever you normally would do, you would refrain yourself from your pleasures that you normally would do on any other day. You see? It's definitely definitely no sex, you know. No servile work. You want to no working out, no going to the gym, no hooping. You know what I'm saying? It's a day of rest. Now we understand we're in this captivity. If a brother got a job where he has to work on the Sabbath day, well, you go and do what you got to do, man. Because we're rehearsing the righteous acts, we're keeping the laws to the best of our ability. But if you don't have to work on the Sabbath day, then hey, brother, relax. Sit in the crib, open up your scriptures, man. Sup in the spirit. You know, meditate, man. That's a day of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that you refrain from your own pleasures, from your own will. You know? Go ahead, bro.
It says, Isaiah 58 and 13, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath day delight, the holy of the Lord Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua hath spoken.
Exactly, man. So it shows you the importance of keeping the Sabbath to the Lord, man. You know, so you refrain from your own ways and from your own deeds and from your own pleasures. You keep the Sabbath day holy. And the new moon and the Sabbath day are synonymous with each other. You can hit that Isaiah once again. Because it said from new moon to new moon and Sabbath to Sabbath. The brother get Amos 8 and 5.
Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another.
Why did they put them together? Why is the new moon and Sabbath together within that scriptures? Because the new moon institutes the Sabbaths for the month, man. So the new moon is a Sabbath, is a day of rest. Go ahead.
And from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord Yahweh.
Let you know that the new moon and the Sabbath are synonymous with each other. The new moon is the first Sabbath of that month. Go ahead, brother. Hit that, Amos.
This is Amos chapter 8 and verse 5. It says, I'll start at verse 4. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat?
So it's letting you know that that's together. When will the new moon be gone that we may sell corn? Show me a law within the scriptures that says that it's unlawful to buy or sell on the new moon. Exactly. I'll wait for that one. You know what I'm saying? Because the new moon is a Sabbath, man. You should not buy or sell on the Sabbath day, so the new moon is a Sabbath. It's letting you know that our forefathers clearly had that understanding. Because these wicked ass niggas wanted to buy and sell on the new moon.
And the new moon Sabbath is a more higher Sabbath than the rest of the three other Sabbath. Just to make that point.
You know, we would perform different sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like double or 7 more lambs or something. When you read Exodus and Leviticus and the different ceremonies that we would have on the regular Sabbath days, you know what I'm saying, versus the new moon Sabbath, you know?
Amos 8 and 5 saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit.
So these wicked niggas wanted to do what, man? To do their own pleasure, man. When the new moon gonna be over, man? When the Sabbath gonna be done, so I can get back to cheating my own people, man? That was those niggas' mindset. But the point is that what? The new moon and the Sabbath are synonymous with each other. Once again, the new moon dictates the Sabbath for that current moon cycle, man. Just like right now, we're in the new moon of this this current moon cycle. So from here on out, the Shabbat is going to be from Saturday night to Sunday night until the next new moon. And then the next new moon will dictate that Shabbat within that cycle. So forth and so on. You see?
This is Psalms 81 and verse 1. It says, sing aloud unto Yahweh our strength. Make a joyful noise unto Yahweh, God of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. So that's just showing you right there that the new moon is something that needs to be acknowledged and observed and celebrated for. Kept is a better word. All right, the new moon is something that needs to be kept. Like the brother said, we're in the new moon right now. So what we're doing, we're refraining from our own lust. All right, instead of last night after camp going going to watch the Canelo fight and drinking at some sports bar. All right, we stayed in and we just chilled. All right, and that was that. All right, so that's how it's gonna be for the next month, for the next moon cycle. We just gonna chill after camp because the new moon is coming in right after camp.
Yep.
You know.
Your brother grab Ezekiel 46 and 1.
This is Ezekiel 46 and 1. It says, thus said the Lord, power, the gate of the inner court that looketh towards the east shall be shut. The six working days, on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open.
Oh, but the 6 working days it shall be closed. But on the Sabbath and the new moon it shall be open, letting you know that the Sabbath and the new moon once again are synonymous with each other. The new moon is a Sabbath day. It's the first day of the month to institute the Sabbath for that month, that moon cycle. That's how we track it. That's how we keep it. According to Genesis, the 1st chapter, as we started with. Now, there's a scripture in Jeremiah. I was looking for it. It shows you the importance of the Sabbath, because the Lord spoke about. I'm gonna just quote it, and if a brother that's watching, if you're able to find it, post it on the comment board. If one of these brothers can find it while I'm speaking, but it speaks about if only we kept the Sabbath, the Lord would have left us in the land. So everything we suffered here in America, we would have suffered being in our own land. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have been in a strange land. We would have been, the Lord would have chastised us in our own land, pretty much. So pretty much he wouldn't have casted us off.
And the Sabbath is like a covenant that he made with us too as well.
Well, that's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? The law, statutes, and commandments is the covenant, which keeping the Sabbath holy is a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain ones that the Lord, he for lack of a better word, he cares more about. And keeping the Sabbath is one that's highly regarded in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. That shows that you truly trust in him, that you believe in him. When you refrain from your own ways, from your own doings, upon the day that you believe is the Sabbath. Now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there. Matter of fact, we're gonna read the scripture and then put the disclaimer out there. Can a brother get Colossians 2:16?
This is Colossians 2:16. It says, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Yahushua Mashiach."
Right. Now Paul just said what? Let no man judge you in respect of a Sabbath or a new moon. So now you got people who teach that it's from Friday to Saturday. If you hold to that and that's what you follow, well then the Lord holds you accountable to that. So you ought to keep Friday and Saturday accordingly, as we had just said. But now through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, it was clearly shown to you that there ain't no Friday in the Bible. There's no Saturday in the Bible. That we follow it according to the new moon, according to the precepts, according to the Holy Spirit that's been revealed unto us. So maybe the Lord didn't open your mind to reveal that unto you about following the new moon and the Sabbath days accordingly. And if you keep Friday to Saturday, well, you keep it holy accordingly as how we're speaking it right now, man. But the key thing is that we're showing you the correct way to keep it. And that Friday night and Saturday night is an incorrect way of doing it, unless the new moon falls on a Friday night. Then that would entails that the Sabbath would be Friday night to Saturday night within that cycle of that month. Keep in mind, we ain't talking about the month of January or the month of April or the month of July. We're talking about the month within that moon cycle, because the word month means moon.
And just to say on that though, also, you got the churches that think the Sabbath is Sunday, but it's clearly, it's clearly in the scriptures, that the men of the Lord that our people serve, they remembered the Sabbath by the new moon. That's what started. And then actually Sunday is the first day of the week, here technically in this side. So not even Sunday is not the Sabbath, because these Christian churches will tell you that the Sabbath is on Sunday,
Right? How you say Saturday in Spanish?
Sábado.
How you say it?
Sábado.
So they say Saturday is the Sabbath.
Yeah, I try to sound, yeah.
The Sabbath, Sabbados, whatever it is. They say it's the Sabbath, the day of rest.
Yeah, because Sabbath day is Sabatico and Saturday is Sábado.
So this is Jeremiah 17:22. It says,
Can you start at 19, bro?
Jeremiah 17:19, it says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by the which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And say unto them, Hear ye the word of the Lord Yahweh, ye kings of Judah, and all Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Take heed to yourselves, and hear no burden, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in the gates of Jerusalem. And a burden is just a load. Like if you, to load up your car and then you gotta unload it, that's work right there, you know. So it says, neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their necks stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. And it shall come to pass, if ye diligently hearken unto me, saith the Lord Yahweh, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work therein, then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes, sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. And they shall come from the cities of Judah, and from the places about Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the plain, and from the mountains, and from the south, and bringing burnt offerings, and sacrifices, and meat offerings, and incense, and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. But if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
Right. So the Lord said, look, just keep the Sabbath, bring in no burden, man, and I will cause, the princes and kings to continue to sit on the throne. But if you don't keep the Sabbath, well, then I'm going to set fire on all the palaces and I'm going to destroy you. And look what took place, man. Showing you the importance of what? That seventh day of resting and keeping it holy in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. A man was put to death for picking up sticks on the Sabbath day. I think that shows you how serious, how it is, man. And in today's terms, man, it's kept mentally within your spirit, Meaning what? For example, like I said, a brother got to work. Like me, you know what I'm saying? Well, now that it's switched, but previously when it was Thursday night to Friday night, you know what I'm saying? I would be vexed within my spirit knowing that I got to go into this goddamn place on the Sabbath, man. But even in my spirit, I already know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got to go and perform this fucking work at this plantation. But I know when I get off of work that it's still the Sabbath. And I'm not going to do the things that I would normally do when I get off work. So keeping it hallowed within your spirit, refraining yourself from things that's pleasurable unto you on the Lord's day, man.
Just real quick, this Exodus 20:8. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Hey, just like we're saying, man, hey, that the Sabbath day is a holy day. We in captivity. Brothers got to work on them days when they fall on them days, but keep in the mind frame that to keep it holy, man. You don't have to be on your phone and doing extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Facebook stuff or whatever, which I don't have Facebook, but you know what I'm saying? Things that you feed your flesh. You know what I'm saying?
All on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And inboxing, looking at ass and shit. No, you don't do that on the Passover, man.
So you don't want to talk about ass. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk about women, period.
Hey, you want to keep it solid, man. It's the day of rest that you want to you chill back on, man, and sup in the spirit. Some brothers, chill back, sup in the spirit, man. A day of studying, a day of solemnity that you put in your mind toward Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Or some brothers chill out and cut on the movie. You know what I'm saying? Sit back and rest up, man.
Or you can even fast on that day too, as well.
So it's all through the spirit. But the point is refraining yourself from your pleasures. What you would normally do on a regular day, you wouldn't do it on the Sabbath day.
This is Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 19. It says, I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, your power. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. And hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am Yahweh your power.
And it said there shall be a sign between me and you, man. You know, hey, that's heavy, you know. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Hallow the Sabbath day, man. The word hallowed means holy, means separated. This day is separated from the rest of the days. Well, can the brother get, what's that, Sirach? Is it 33 or 36?
Stephen the Dead.
Yep. It's Sirach 33. Sirach 33 and verse 7.
Sirach 33 and 7. It says, why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun?
Right. So how is one day better than another when shit the sun hit each and every day, right? Go ahead.
By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts.
By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished. So what? Through the word, man, through this knowledge, we know the difference between these days. Go ahead.
Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days.
Exactly. 6 days thou shalt work. Those are ordinary days. But on the seventh is a day of rest. That's a day that was hallowed. That's a day that the Lord considered a high day. Go ahead.
And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth.
Oh, well, that was the point. That's going into difference in men as well, you know. But the point is that the Sabbath day is a high day to Yahweh Basham Yahushua, you know. And that's how we know what our different feast days. Like when we read Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Matter of fact, grab Leviticus 23 and 23, I think it is. Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, goes into pretty much our high holy days. You know, goes into the Pesach, it goes into the Feast of First Fruits, so forth and so on, man. And a lot of these falls on the Shabbat, like our Passover. Our Passover falls what? On the 14th day at even, which is the 15th day. That would be a Sabbath.
And that's always.
And that's a cut on guys who they celebrate they Sabbath from Friday night to Saturday night, but then they Passovers on Tuesday.
Right.
How you do that? You know, that lets you know that something ain't adding up even within that. But go ahead.
I think I seen someone they Sabbath on a Saturday night, or they Passover on a Saturday night just because it was most convenient. You know, that's when everybody's off. You know, it wasn't even Friday or Saturday on their Sabbath, right? But it was like, I think it was a Saturday night because everybody's off. So you can have more people come in, more people put money into it. You know, that's neither here nor there.
It's Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath.
Which is a new moon. The 1st day of the 7th month. Well, the 1st day institutes what? We read it in First Samuel, the 20th chapter. The 1st day is the new moon. So the beginning of this 7th month is a Sabbath, the new moon. Go ahead.
The 1st day of the month shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing trumpets, a holy convocation.
Right. So on that day, not only is it a new moon Sabbath, but the 1st day of the 7th month is the memorial of blowing the trumpets. And that's all determined by what? By Genesis, the 1st chapter, by the signs and the times, man. The sun and the moon determines these things. We read in Psalms, the 81st chapter, blow ye up the trumpet in the new moon on your solemn appointed feast days, man. So this is how we keep track of these things. Just like how our ancient forefathers did, is the same thing we're doing today, as it is written in Romans 15 and 4. The things that are written aforetime are written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So this is how our forefathers kept it during their time when they lived. Well, this is how we're going to follow it today. Job 8 and 8, it says, prepare thyself for the search of thy fathers. So we're going back to the east. We're going back to the customs that Yahweh Basham Yahushua gave into our forefathers, man. You have anything? Hey, so with that, man, hopefully that was edifying. You know, how to keep the Sabbath, man. Keep it holy. Refrain from your own pleasures, man. From doing your own deeds and your own wills. You know. Now there's a balance within it. Like we said, hey, brothers got to work within this present evil world. We subject unto payments. We in captivity. So if a brother got to work, hey, go to work. Don't be OR. Oh man, I ain't got no gas, man. I can't buy no gas. I got to go to work. No, get gas in your car so you can make it back home after you come from work, man. You know, prepare your food. You know what I'm saying? The Sabbath coming in. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't cook on the Sabbath. So hey, prepare something the night before. You know. The point is pleasures from your own deed. Keep it solemn. You know. The Wadi Yahweh Basham Yahushua for allowing us to know when the Sabbath comes in and allowing us to keep it. So with that, we give all praises, honor, glory to
Yahweh Basham Yahushua Basham HaKadosh.
Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel of truth and sincerity, always in charity. Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.